Heavy in this game, time to boss up. The way I'm switching lanes, you could hardly keep up. Heavy in this game, time to boss up. When your back's against the wall, man, it's time to run.
That's the title of the song, right?
Yes, sir.
What made you want to choose the title of that song? What made you want to make the title of the song Boss Up?
Alright, so that beat is made by my little cousin, Ayo Trey, from ATL. So when he came out to Cali, we had to lock in for a studio session. He played that beat for me. As soon as the pianos came on, first thing I thought was like, oh yeah, I felt motivated. And at that time, that whole, even from then to now, I've been focused on leveling up, bossing up. So it was just like, that was the first thing I thought about as soon as I heard them keys come on. And so that's what led to me coming up with the chorus, and I picked the title because that was the main part I'm saying. Like, you know, it's time to boss up.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that's where I got it from.
In this song, you have a feature, right? So considering that it is a feature, how long did it take you to make this track?
This one, man, I did bit by bit, believe it or not. So yeah, that night, my cousin was out here from ATL. We had a session, played this beat. That night, I was like, oh shit, I felt it so much, I started coming up with the chorus. So I had like an idea for the chorus. I had the heavy in this game, time to boss up. That part, I had the melody, like how I'm gonna say the words. And what was the question again? My bad.
The question was, how long did it take you to complete this track?
Yeah, so that night, I laid a rough draft. It was a different hook than what y'all hear now. But it had like pretty much a good chunk of it. But it was real basic. That night, off of what I laid that night, my little cousin put his verse on there. He got the first verse. And his flow pattern, like, man, this is on Unlocked Part 2. Unlocked Part 1, he did half the beats, I did half the beats.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another special thing about this project. It's like me and him, I'm showcasing him to my listeners, and it's an opportunity for me to work on some different sounding music, because he's in ATL and they got a whole different bounce, you know. So with me being from Gardena, Los Angeles, California, it's just two different flows. So it's like the best of both worlds, and it's creating, it's art, and I'm having fun. So, you know, he laid that verse, and I was just so proud of his flow pattern. Shout out to him. So that night I didn't put no verse on it. I just was like, cool, I got him. As long as I got something recorded from him, I'm happy, because whenever he visits, I try to catch him before he leave, you know? So I was just like, oh, as long as I got his vocals, we cool, I could work on this later. So I'll say probably like, shit, it took like maybe 3 months later, man. I came back to it way after. And I had periods like that with these songs, but I didn't force this song, because I knew I didn't just want to make a song where I'm talking about money. Like, oh, money, I'm a boss, I'm this, I'm that. I'm not saying I'm a boss. I'm saying it's time to boss up. Like, it's time to take this shit serious to the next level. So when I came back to it, I had my verse. I wrote my verse. I actually put the pen to the paper and wrote that verse. And the flow pattern was different because I mimicked my cousin's flow pattern. You know, I did that to show him love. Like, okay, yeah, this what you bringing? I love this flow so much. I was like, let me borrow that. I'm gonna borrow that flow, but put my twist to it, you know? And then I broke it apart and brought it back to the melodic side. So I'm having fun with that, because it's showcasing that I can do multiple things, you know? And I feel like in a good way, where it's not me losing myself and my sound. It's more so like, let me try this, let me show you I can do this too, and then bounce back, and, you know, just flexing on it, man.
That's dope. So you said around 3 months?
Yeah, so like broken apart, you know, Not that full time, because it didn't take me that long to write the verse, but just life, you know, should be happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, I worked on other songs in between that time, but something told me, like, I'm going to need more time to sit down with this, and I wanted to allow myself to have that time unfiltered so I could just really get the idea out. Because it's like, yeah, it's time to boss up. That's a motivational thing, so it's like I want to make the song motivate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, I can have that in my mind, but when it comes to the lyrics, I want you to feel that and get it.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to hear what I'm saying, and I want you to feel how I feel. You know, like I wanted you to feel motivated to do whatever you're trying to do. So
yeah, I can definitely say that. With me, at least personally, as a listener, I could say that I got that message. You know, so definitely the way I look at it is like 3 months, 1 week, 6 months, bro. Like at the end, you created a good piece.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's a lot of people who are creating something should take into consideration. You know, is the idea that sometimes things will happen quicker or slower than other times. Everything has its timing, but at the end, as long as you are committed to complete it and create a good piece, that's what matters.
Exactly, bro.
You know?
Yeah.
That's dope, bro.
And that's dope that you can say that, and that's what you get from putting time into your craft. Like, we both understand it because we've been doing what we do for this long, you know?
Yep.
And it's like, you learn to appreciate the art.
Exactly.
You can't force everything to happen right now.
Yep. 100%, bro.
Yeah.
So you touched a little bit on the lyrics and the beats to the song, but what came first?
So the beat came first.
Okay.
And I wasn't there when he made the beat, but he made the beat and presented it to me. So he made the beat at ATL, and when we had our session, he showed it to me for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So the first play was when I got my first idea for the chorus. And then, you know, the title come from there, and then he laid his verse. 3 months passed. I come back to it, I put my verse on, and then I updated the hook, because the hook was more, it was way simpler. Like I was saying, boss up more. But for me, when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, it's kind of boring. I don't want to lose my listener by just having something so basic. So I was like, I gotta add something else. So I added the second half for the chorus, and then it was just an idea. I was like, let me try it. Tried it out, and it just meshed well. So I was like, okay, now I feel better. And then, so after I updated the hook, that's what led me to the outro, where I'm like, no more running from my pain. Like, I feel like to boss up, you gotta face all the stuff that brings you pain. Like all the stuff that's on your mind, all the stuff you avoiding, all the stuff you've been putting on the back burner, you know, stuff you know you have to do. The shit that you know that you do that's taking time away from whatever you're trying to create, you gotta dead all that shit, you know, and, you know, depending on how bad you want it, you could play with yourself and be trying to balance both and live these double lives and shit, but the real ones dedicate themselves fully and they choose that path that they want. And so for bossing up, to me, it's like, man, there ain't one boss out here that's successful, respected, and that's really making an impact on the world that hasn't faced some type of pain. You know, pain comes in so many different ways. No matter how dark one person's pain is compared to the other, that don't mean anything. It's all pain and trauma, and they affect in different ways. You know, something small to this person could affect this person in major ways. So that's the message. It's like, okay, everybody want to boss up, but this will come with it, man. You gotta face your pain. You know, like. And I repeated it so much because it's just like, yeah, that's one of my mantras. I tell myself, like, man, no more running. Like, at this point, I'm done running, you know?
Would you say that's the main message that you want your listeners to obtain from this track?
Yeah, that's the main one. It's like, you know, shit, to be the best version of yourself, you gotta boss up. You gotta stand tall, 10 toes down, say what you are. You know, I always knew I was dope. when it comes to this rap stuff. But now, you know, I've been saying that for so long, it's showing now. So it's like, that's something I practice, you know, that mantra. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, man, I'm dope as hell. Like, people don't even know, like, you know. But it's up to me to show them. And that's what I'm saying, it's power in that. So that's just what it is. It's like, boss up, man. See that power in yourself. Know that you could, you don't have to run from your pain. You can face it and get past it. And then, you know, that's just for you, but you can take it to the next level and share that with somebody so they can get past theirs. So it's like, that's what I want to do, you know. So that's the message.
So this track is basically a track where you collaborated with somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And he was from ATL, completely the other side of the country, right?
Yeah.
So we all know that there's recording, editing, and production that goes into this, right?
Yeah.
So considering that you, for this specific track, that the person was on the other side of the country, which aspect of the creation process do you think, that you know took longer for this track?
Took longer.
Was it the recording? Was it the editing? What took longer to obtain?
This one, the recording, because it came piece by piece. So it was more like, you know, say Monday I came up with the idea, boss up concept. Tuesday I might not have anything past the idea. Wednesday, I get the whatever, like, the first half of my first verse. I couldn't get past no more without forcing it. So I just was taking breaks in between and being graceful with myself as far as creating. Understanding that, I got the best vision, or I want the best for this song right now, but I understand that I can't push myself right now. This day, maybe I had some other shit going on, but this is one of them songs where it was like I just kept coming back to, and me putting that energy into it, and I think in like all those different times, I think it made the song better. As opposed to me just sitting down and one trying to knock it out, you know. So I'll say the recording process took longer because I was not undecided or decisive, whatever it is. I was kind of not unsure where I wanted to take it, but I knew where I wanted to take the hook. But then even in the hook, I changed it because it was, I had another thought. So it was just like, trying out my thoughts. I got all my ideas out and then got rid of the bad ones and then kept the good ones, as opposed to just like, everything at one time.
All that trial and error, right?
Yeah, trial and error and trying stuff and, like on the chorus, on the outro, when I'm saying that chant, no more running from my pain, I'm kind of like harmonizing and scatting in the background. And it's like, with me being a rapper, I come from street rap, hip hop rap, like all that stuff is new to me, It's I'm not out here like I'm the best singer, but practicing that and then getting it to the point where I'm confident in it, and presenting that and having confidence in when I'm presenting, I'm like, that's dope too, that's the part of the trial and error that nobody see, so all of that, bro. That's what made the recording process take longer. The mixing and the editing and all that, it was pretty simple after that. After I got all of my ideas out, I was just happy. Like, that part just flew by. It was like, I knew exactly what I wanted. It's like, okay, on to the next.
So considering these 3 months in which you were going through the creation process of this track, where were you at in your life? Like, in your personal life, where were you at?
At that time, man, it was really just, I focused on balance. Balance and being present enough to notice that I'm living the dream. And sometimes when you're living the dream, you have to make sacrifices. And sacrifices are taking away from the time for yourself to get shit done. Like, my cousin was out here from ATL. If I didn't take the time to go set up the studio and all that shit and set up the time to catch him while he was out here, that moment would have passed us and we never would have got the opportunity to make this song or, just vibe that night. And that night was more than music. It's me spending time with my cousin. me catching up with him, talking about what's going on out there. You know, him inspiring me inspiring him. Me being the older cousin, me having to remove my ego and pride from how many years I put into this. It's not even about that. It's more so like, man, what can we create right now that's gonna be dope, that we will remember forever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So just being in that mindset, I was just like that night, man, I'll be having work and, you know, personal life going on every night. I don't feel like recording all the time. That was one of them nights I was just kind of like, man, I don't feel like, you know, breaking down all this shit and then taking it over there, setting it up, and then, you know, it's hella late, people's schedules, and, you know, it's just a lot to think about. But that night, I did it, you know, and I pushed past how I was feeling, and it made sense that night why I couldn't come up with the whole verse, because I was tired, you know, and why the hook was only half done, because I was tired. But this is a lesson, like, on them tired nights, that don't mean you can't start something, you know?
Yep.
And I started it, and look where it led, you know? So that's just one of them reminders that I take personally. It's like, shit, all in the nights, we ain't gonna feel like doing what we gotta do. And it's not like what we gotta do, but I say what we have to do for our personal goals. It's like, man, I used to pray to be in position to collab and make music with other people and have people come up to me like, hey, man, I like what you're doing. Let's make some music. I used to pray for that, bro. And now I'm at that point. I made music with so many people, and I'll be foolish to ignore that just because I'm tired, you know? Like, what the fuck?
Sure. In a sense, it's like, in all that chaos, you still found a balance to make it happen.
Yeah.
And boss up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I like that, because it's like you said earlier, I believe you mentioned this earlier, touch upon it, which is the idea that, you know, how to be a boss and to boss up. I like how that connects to how during that time in your personal life you summed it up to balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe myself too that a boss needs balance.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it comes to your inner self. You know, like if you don't have a balance, it's kind of like the yin yang. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The yin yang to me is like a spiritual symbol. That's what it is, and since it's inside, the spirit is inside of you. That's why I say you need that balance inside of you. If you're not balanced inside of you, it's gonna be, how can you handle something that's not balanced, which is the outside world, and it's in all its chaos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're unbalanced out here, you can't make the outside world more balanced.
Right.
You know, you gotta be balanced in here so that whether the outside world is more balanced or not, you're still good.
And bro, what you saying is so powerful, because it's like, man, it makes so much sense right now. But it's like, that's every day, bro.
Yeah.
Like, when you break that down, that's magic too. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, we have to figure this out. That's the whole, I feel like that's the whole point of our human experience. Like, no matter what trauma it comes with, when we figure that out, it'll help us understand why the world is like this, you know? The more knowledge you get about yourself, you start to learn more about the world too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dang, that's powerful. Why is it like that? Why? You know, but some people only ask why maybe once or twice, but then there's a couple of us that keep asking that shit, you know?
There's one thing that stood to me that I learned during my college years, bro, was, and I forget what book this was, but it was this book that I read, and it basically said that to never stop asking why.
Bro, and that's powerful, bro.
And that has always stood to me, bro. Like, always ask why. Because when you don't ask why, bro, you don't... It's like... It's just impossible to uncover something new.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, if you don't ask why. And that means you just basically accept life for what it gives you. Or what you think it gave you. You know? And... it's gonna stay that way if you don't ask why, bro. It's like every single problem solver or anybody in life who has ever solved a huge problem, they what started them was the fact that they asked why.
Right.
Why is it this way?
Yep. And then, is there better? Could there be better?
You know?
Like, it's like, man, why at least there's so many other questions, and that's the power in it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like if you're not one of those people out here asking why, and you sit back, the world gives you reminders because other people are gonna ask why. And when they ask it, they're gonna be asking the questions that you've been thinking about this whole time, but you ain't never had the balls to ask why.
Yeah.
So it's like with what you said, that's powerful. And then growing up, I had a teacher that used to tell me, like, man, no question is a dumb question. And that's powerful too, because it's like when you understand that, you don't have to be in fear of sounding dumb. Like, I know for me and my personal experience, this might be off topic, but it's really all together. Growing up, being in hip hop, and I grow up, my pop speaking slang, like I got a lot of slang on me, and my grandma on my mom's side was the one person that would always check me about my grammar, and me and her used to butt heads early on, but as I got older, I realized it made me practice speaking better and more clear. So at school, I ended up coming across a teacher that was the same way, but she checked me in different ways. But then after getting past the friction or whatever, it was like, nah, they doing this because they love us, and they wanted me to know that to make it in this world, I have to be able to speak both sides. I have to be able to go in the room and have the confidence to talk to whoever this boss person is, whether they from our nationality or another. And then that don't mean I have to stop my slang or be ashamed of my slang, but there's a time and place for my slang to come out, So it's like that duality, I always had that pressure on me, so it just makes sense what we talking about, like, shit, that's why it is how it is.
It sounds like you're like, hey.
Yeah, I do need another.
Nah, bro, but we good though.
For sure, yeah.
Alright, bro, that shit was dope.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, man, we on, man.
Y'all listen to that track, Boss Up. And if you ain't bossed up yet, then don't even be talking.
No, bosses only, man. Bosses only. Even our employees gonna be bosses.
Yes, sir.
Future bosses.
I like that we're talking about this. I'm gonna just say it. It's like recently what I kind of started, what came to my mind, bro. One time, when I was chilling and just thinking, I was like, bro, because right now I'm working. I have a part-time job and I'm working on my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't want no bosses. Like, I want partners.
Yeah, I feel that.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you have a boss, bro, it's not to say that you can't be a boss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying you don't want no bosses. Because the only people who have bosses are employees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it's a partner, bro, that's different. It's different. It's like a business partner.
That's a boss and a boss connect.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why to me it's like I don't want no bosses, bro. I want partners, dog.
Yeah, we saying the same shit. I'm just saying different. Yeah, it's like that's real, bro.
Yeah,
because it's like, man, if you don't have the potential, or if you working with somebody that you don't see potential in, that's a red flag. But the worst red flag is you could be working with somebody that you see potential in, but they don't see it in themselves.
Yeah.
So that's another red flag. And it's like that potential is what creates a boss. Like if everybody start out as an employee, but if you can't vision yourself being at the next level, shit, you just ain't cut from that cloth, man.
Yes, sir.
But for what we trying to do, we need bosses to get to where we going, man.
Mm-hmm.
We not coming from money like that where we could just go pay the best person to do the shit. We gotta find people that really understand what we doing so we could connect and collab and, grow together.
Yes,
But people don't understand that. It sounds simple, but man, when we really doing this shit, people be talking, man. Everybody talk like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, blah, blah, blah. But all the real bosses know that it's talkers and then people that's actually doing this shit. People that's actually doing this shit, most of the time they ain't even talking because they so busy doing this shit. Whether you see it or not.
It's like they say, real recognize real.
Yeah, it's like
it takes one to know one type thing.
Right, and the further you get, like, bro, my whole journey has been like that, man. Like, I had put so much time and energy into other people, and I always seen potential in the room. Like, I feel like that's one of my gifts. I could see it. I could see it in others, And but it's a curse because if that person don't see it for themselves, then it's just like, damn, not wasted talent, but they just chose to put their energy into whatever that ain't what I saw, So it's not like that's bad for them, people gotta live their lives too. But for the vision I have in my mind, for the picture I'm trying to paint, and when it comes to working with others, it's like I can't afford to waste time with people that ain't seeing it the same way. Because time is precious, and I gotta take control of a lot of my time to create time for the shit I gotta do. Because the older I get, more responsibilities come. And it's like, I ain't got no kids right now, but I do want to have kids, but I know I'm gonna need to make more money. So it's like, to get more money, more responsibility gonna come. And it's always gonna be something different,
Mm-hmm.
But that's the struggling artist shit, like, it's part of the game, and it's up to us to figure it out. And I know us, bro. We figuring that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
We in the middle of it. So it's a matter of time.
Heavy in this game, time to boss up. The way I'm switching lanes, you could hardly keep up. Heavy in this game.